Okay, we are recording. Welcome to our Thursday night new tip coach call. And tonight we're talking about inviting and how to invite with confidence and what to do to help your invites. So I first want to start by asking you to think about, are you inviting 3 people a day? And you don't have to answer it by raising your hand or anything, but just honestly, are you inviting 3 people a day? Or for me, that's 21 people a week, because I do it a little differently. I don't necessarily, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't necessarily invite every single day, but I make sure that I invite 21 people a week to something, maybe to my free group, maybe to my challenge group, maybe to the coaching opportunity. You constantly need to be inviting. And if you're not inviting 3 people a week, then I want to ask you why. Why aren't you inviting 3 people a week? And I can tell you that more than likely the reason you are not inviting 3 people a week is the fear of rejection. That you are afraid of being rejected when you put yourself out there and you ask someone to do this and they say no. You're afraid of that no. And we've all been there. We, especially as new coaches, we have all been there. We have all been afraid, especially to invite those people that are so important to us, like family or really good friends. And what are they going to say? What do they think about this? And it's easier. It's easier just not to invite at all than to hear a no. And I want to start kind of with a story that was told to me by corporate, gosh, it's been years ago, but this story always sticks out in my head, and I always think about this when I'm inviting. Because even now I kind of get into that mind frame of, what if they say no? Or, this person's really into health and fitness, and what if they just think Beachbody is silly, or whatever it might be. So the story that they told me was, think about whenever someone comes up to you at a coffee shop. The server comes up to you at a coffee shop and at dinner, when you're out to dinner. And after dinner, they ask you, would you like a cup of coffee? Well, it's simple. It's either a yes or a no. If you answer that question with a no, does the server put their head down and get all discouraged and walk away and pout and then not ask anyone else the rest of the week for a cup of coffee because you have told them no? No, they don't. And we have to think of it the same way. We have an opportunity. We're putting it out there. Either they're going to say yes or they're going to say no. But we can't take it to heart. We can't get offended when they say no. And we also have to remember that no doesn't always mean no. And Sarah on this call right now is a huge testament to that, because I asked this girl for 4 years to join Beachbody, and she told me no. But guess what? When she was ready, when it was finally her time, she came to me because I was the person that asked her. So you also need to be thinking about that. If you don't ask them, someone else is going to ask them. And then, sorry, I thought someone fell down the stairs. And then whenever okay. And then when they are ready, they're going to come to you because you're the person that asked them. You're the person that talked to them. So even if they don't say yes right now, you need to be thinking about, but I've got to talk to them before someone else does, because someone's going to ask them. Someone's going to ask them if they want to join their challenge group. So it might as well be you that asks them. And you have awesome things to provide. So that's kind of what I'm going to start talking about now. And I'll say hi real quick, and then you need to go downstairs with Daddy. Hi. Okay. Go downstairs with Daddy. He's waiting on you, okay? A lot of coaches and a lot of top coaches do competitions on their teams where they shoot for no's. They see how many no's that they can get in a month. And they make it into a game and they turn it around, because they know for every 10 no's they get, someone's going to say yes. And at least if you're getting those no's, you're asking people. You're not just sending those invites out at all. So in your head, make it a game. Like, how many no's can I get today? And I know we have coaches on our team that do that. How many no's can I get? And that's kind of what they work for. And you got to have that attitude and that mentality about it. Because and that's always my goal. I want 1 yes for every 10 no's. So I always think if I'm going to send out 10 invites, I'm really hoping that one of those people will say yes. So turn that around, make that a game, and just know that you're putting it into their heads. And when they are ready, you're going to be the person that they think of. Okay, so I am going to kind of go into now. Yes, I've got another one that wants to say hi really quick. Hurry. Come say hi. And then go downstairs.
Hi.
Okay. I want to go into your mindset and what you really need, and I've taken notes here, and what you really need to be thinking about whenever you sit down to invite. And you need to be thinking, and you need to be so confident that we have solutions. You have the solution, and you know that because it has worked for you, or it is working for you right now, that is going to help someone. We have a solution for almost everything out there. And you need to believe that with your full heart whenever you sit down and you invite people. You have to stop the doubt in your head. You have to stop the fear that you have when you sit down to invite people. And you just have to know that what you have in front of you is going to help someone. It's going to help someone. And that's the mindset that you need to have in your head whenever you sit down, because you've been on the receiving end and you know what Beachbody can do for you, and you know what it can do for others. We have awesome challenge groups. Our challenge groups, in my opinion, are some of the best in the company. Aaron and everyone in Fit Fighter Nation has done an amazing job at coming together with challenge groups and training us and teaching us how to do correct challenge groups. We rock our challenge groups, and I am very confident of that. And I know that I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for a challenge group. I would not be, because my workout program would still be sitting on the counter, and my Shakeology that I thought was gross whenever I drank it the first time, I would not have tried again. And I see Carolyn on the call, and she can kind of relate to that. She thought the Shakeology was gross like I thought the Shakeology was gross. And if I hadn't had walked her through it and talked her into trying it again and again and again, she would have put it to the side and never tried it again. And that's what I would have done. I would have tried it one time, I would have thought it was gross, and I would have put it to the side. But that challenge group is what kept me there. My coach is the one that talked me into, no, you've got to try, Megan, it's worth so much more. She educated me about it. She taught me, it's still gross plain. You'll get there. It took me 4 years. You'll get there. My coach is who educated me. You have to have confidence in our challenge group, and you have to know how incredible it is. And you have to come across with that whenever you are sitting down to invite. But I know that you know that, so I'm reminding you of that. Shakeology, whether we think it is gross when we started or not, is amazing. It is absolutely amazing, and it blows any other product out of the water. There is nothing else out there that comes anywhere close to what Darren O'Lean has done for us. There is nothing out there. I would pay double the price of what I am paying for Shakeology now to drink it every day. And when I sit down to invite people, that's what's in my head. Never once do I put in their head that, oh, it's expensive, or, I know it's expensive, but it really works. Don't ever say that to someone. Don't give them an out, because it is expensive. But we realize how much it's worth, and that we would pay double it. And that's what I've got to put in my head when I sit down. And I know that I would pay double the price for this. You are lucky that it costs as much as it does. The fact that we have superfoods delivered to our doorstep for that price is incredible. And that's the energy and that's the confidence that you have to have in the products when you sit down and you start to invite people. You have to know that it helps with energy. You know that it helps with your immunity. You know that it helps with your digestion. You know it helps with weight loss, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Why wouldn't you want to drink this? And I hope that that's what you think when you're inviting people. Why wouldn't you want to drink this? Because that's what I'm thinking when I'm talking to people. I never, and I don't want to say I never, because when I started, I did. But you've got to get out of the mindset of, well, they may not want to. You have to think, why wouldn't they want to? Why would they not want to be a part of this? And that goes for the coaching opportunity. Why would you not want to be a part of this team? Why? Why would you not want to start reading personal development and better yourself? Why would you not want to be surrounded by women who are going to lift you up instead of tear you down every day? You have to think of that mindset. Why not? So when you sit down and you're going to invite, and I'm going to back up to me talking about not inviting every single day. Because I did invite every single day. I used to invite 3 people every single day. And I've changed the way I do it, and you can choose how you want to do it, because I do think it's draining. And I do think with new coaches, it takes a lot out of you to sit down and invite. And I think doing that every day, if you are not great at it yet, can really drain you. So and even me, I mean, it takes a lot for me still sometimes to sit down and invite people. I have changed it to where I invite 2 or 3 days a week are my inviting days. The rest of the days are my days that I follow up with people and things like that. That way, those 2 or 3 days, I can sit down and I can kill those invites. And I crank up the music, and I know this sounds crazy, but this helps me to really get my energy up. Because you can't sit down at your computer exhausted and tired and say, hey, I'm doing this thing. Do you want to join me? They're going to feel that. They have to feel your energy. Crank your music up. I want you to dance for 2 or 3 minutes before you sit down to invite. Get your energy up. Get excited. That way, when you sit down at that computer, your excitement goes through those invites. And that way you are ready. Personal development is something I do before that. I read my personal development so that I'm in the right mindset. I crank my music up. I dance for a couple minutes in my office all by myself, but hopefully no one ever walks in on me. And then I sit down to invite people to, in my opinion, the best damn thing ever. And that is what is in my head when I sit down to invite. I cannot have that doubt creep into my head. That doubt and that fear has to go away at that moment. And it's hard, guys. It's not easy. It's hard. But you've got to, that's the way that you have to do it. You have to stop worrying about what they are thinking. And for me, something that has really helped me when I sit down to invite, I think about my best friend and me telling her about something I'm excited about, like a movie. For example, a new movie comes out. What am I going to do? I'm going to call her and I'm going to immediately tell her about this awesome new movie that I just watched, and she's got to watch it too. And that's what I think of. And if that's something that you need to do in order to kind of get past well, it's a workout and a Shakeology and I'm not an expert and they may not like it. Or, I mean, you would never worry about telling your best friend about a movie. Like, well, she might not like it. Maybe I shouldn't recommend it. Like, you wouldn't do that. So think of that. If you need to not think about it being Shakeology or Beachbody, then do that. Think about something else and act like you're talking to your best friend, because then your voice and you're going to be authentic when you come across to those people. If you say, hey girl, when you're talking to your best friend, then say, hey girl, whenever you're doing your invites. I am not very I'm not very professional in my invites. I'm not going to lie. I'm just not a professional person. I'm more of this is how I talk to my best friend on the phone. That's just how I am in my invites. And I really think that's how you need to be, so that you are authentic and you don't come across as salesy. So that's kind of how I sit down to invite. I want to give you just a few tips on what my invites look like to hopefully help you. You have to let them know what you're willing to do for them. You have to let them know what you have to offer in your invite. You have to always end with a question, because if you don't end with a question, then they're going to think maybe they don't need to respond to you. End with a question. Does this sound like something you like to do? Are you interested in this? Or what do you think? Or can you get back with me? Something along those lines. Because if you just spout out a bunch of information, then they're going to think that's great. But if you give them a question at the end, they're going to feel more of a need to respond to you whenever you do that. I already kind of mentioned personal development and how that helps with the confidence. You have to invite to something. You can't invite them to try Shakeology. You can't invite them to try Shift Shop. You need to invite them to something. And right now, all of the people in my group for Team Cup are inviting to our free group. So, and that's kind of an easy way to start, inviting to a free group, because then you're not inviting them to something that you feel like they have to pay for. So anyone right now that is commenting or liking or anything on your post for my Team Cup, they need to be sending those people an invite and just saying, hey, I've got a free group going on right now. Would you be interested in joining? That is such an easy thing to start inviting with. And that's kind of why I set our free group up like that, because my free group, most of you are on this call, most of you are new coaches, and it's easier to start with invites to something free. So that's a super easy thing. But invite to something, whether you're inviting to the free group. So that's what my group will be doing this week. Next week, we're going to start inviting to the challenge group. And the week after that, we're going to start inviting to the coaching opportunity and our coaching sneak peek. You always have to invite to something. Don't invite them to try a product. I don't know about you, but when I get something that says from someone random that I don't even know asking about if I'll try this product, I usually don't even look, like I pass it up. I don't even look at it. But when you're inviting me to an event, I'm more interested in what's going on, what you're doing. If you need to be, this is my last little tip, you need to be connecting. It's a lot easier if you connect before you invite. So for me, this is kind of how I lay it out. I have someone that maybe has liked something on my social media page. Well, then for a day or two, I'm going to comment or like on their things on their social media page. Then I'm going to send them an invite on, or send them a message on Facebook that just says, hey, I really appreciate you liking, my posts about like for Stephanie, she just did her story the other day. Hey, I really appreciate you liking or commenting on my story. It's not really easy to put myself out there. I really appreciate the support. You're not inviting them to anything at all when you do that. You're just talking to them. You're thanking them for liking something that you've posted on social media, because that almost always then leads to them saying, no problem. I'm so inspired by you, or, you're doing a great job. And that's when then you can come back and say, well, I have a challenge group coming up. I see Stephanie's face. Yep, there's a method to my madness. That's when you can then come back and say, well, I've got a free group coming up, or a challenge group, or whatever, and I'd love to have you join me so I can teach you more about this. I never at the beginning mentioned Shakeology or my Beachbody workouts. I never mentioned the price. I need to build a relationship with them. I need to educate them on what I am doing before I drop that price, because even though we would pay double the price, a lot of people are intimidated by that price before they learn what it can do for them. So that's something I save for the end. I always make sure I tell them everything Shakeology can do for them, everything the workouts can do for them before I ever drop that price. And when I do tell them the price, I will say, well, it's such and such a day, but that's $4.10 a meal. And I do that because I know for my husband, when I told him how much it cost, he was kind of like, I don't know about this. But when I said it's $4.10, you spend that much on McDonald's on the way to work every day, he really couldn't come back with anything then. So that breaking it down to how much they're going to spend a day makes it a lot easier for them to really comprehend how much they're going to be spending. So those are my tips on inviting and how I invite, how I get myself pumped up for inviting, the words I use. I am going to go ahead and stop our recording now, but I'm going to open it up for any questions that you guys might have about inviting. So I'm going to go ahead and stop us now.